What's up guys, it's Nathan back with another video and the final UFC video this year. 2020 is coming to an end for the UFC calendar and let's be honest, I think everyone wants 2020 to end anyway. So without further ado, let's get into the fight picks. According to various news sources, the starting of the main card has a different matchup, so I'm just going to go through what either of the matchups I think are going to be on the first match of the main card. So we'll go with Jillian Robertson versus Talia Santos. They're either the featured prelim or they're the first card on the main card fights. So Jillian Robertson has fantastic jiu-jitsu. She has a number to her name. She's facing upcoming Talia Santos, and I think Jillian Robertson is going to be too good for her. She's going to win by submission. She is very submission savvy, and I think she's going to take a rear naked choke. I would say I'd say second round. I think she's going to feel her out and then tap her out in the second round. And then the other fight that I think that might be the featured prelim or the first fight on the main card is Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Alex Morona. Anthony Showtime Pettis is former WEC lightweight champion, former UFC lightweight champion, fought for the interim UFC featherweight championship against Max Holloway. Now he's a welterweight. He has a number to his name. It's either 12 or 13 if I'm not mistaken. Alex Morona has been up and down in the UFC, but he's a bit on a wave right now, and I think that they are trying to give Anthony Pettis a gimme fight because he's fought such monsters in the last couple of years. But from what I've seen against Donald Cowboy Cerrone, I thought Donald Cerrone won that fight against him in his last bout, and of course Anthony Pettis got the victory. But I think Alex Morona is going to be, I think he's going to shock everyone, and I think he's going to either win by decision or he's going to tap out Anthony Pettis. I think there's going to be a shocker on the cards this week. Then we have a heavyweight fight between Marcin Tybura from Poland versus Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy is a former NFL player, and he's taken a turn to mixed martial arts now. He's had a couple of fights in the UFC. He's had actually a lot. He had a big bunch of fights. He's taking fights on short notice during the pandemic and whatnot, and he's really stepped up for the UFC. He's fought some elite fighters like the Russian fighters. You know, he was a top 5 fighter. So Alexander Volkov took him to a decision. He stayed in there. Many people thought he was going to get outmatched and finished. He stayed there all 5 rounds of the fight. He lost, but he showed that he can go again. And Marcin Tybura, who showed he was very impressive in his last fight, and he won by decision. And I think Marcin Tybura has a number to his name, and I think Greg Hardy wants that number. I think Greg Hardy is going to finish Marcin Tybura with his athleticism and power and finally get a number to his name. Then we have bantamweight fighters, Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font. Rob Font and Marlon Moraes are both in the top 12 of the bantamweight division. Marlon Moraes is on a rough 2-fight skid. He lost to the champion and then to the number 1 contender, Corey Sandhagen. And he's had a bit of a rough time as of late, and he's looking to bounce back against Rob Font. Rob Font is from the New England area. I think he's from the Massachusetts area, and he trains with Calvin Keita and a variety of top fighters. And I think it's going to be a big step up in competition for him, and I think the step up might be too much for him. I think Marlon Moraes still has something in the tank, and I would say Marlon Moraes to get back on track, second round KO or TKO finish. Then we have Michel Pereira versus the very, very violent Chaos Williams, and I'm not going to get into this too much. Michel Pereira, exciting fighter, does a lot of dynamic stuff, likes to dance in the octagon and out of the octagon, and he's taking on Chaos Williams, who's basically not even for 3 minutes of total fight time in the UFC yet, and he's just starched everyone he's fought so far in the UFC, and I think this is going to be no different. First round KO, Chaos Williams. Then we have the former featherweight kingpin, Jose Aldo, taking on Marlon Chito Vera. This is a big step up for Chito Vera, and I think he has what it takes to beat Jose Aldo. I don't think he's going to put away Jose Aldo. It's a 3-round fight. I think it's going to go to a decision. I think Marlon Vera has shown a great jump in skills from the time he won that Ultimate Fighter competition. And I think he's going to show what he's all about on Sunday when he takes on Jose Aldo. And I think it's Chito's time. He's going to show how good he really is. Finally, he's going to get the opportunity. and I think he's gonna beat Jose Aldo by decision. I think it's gonna be a long 3-round fight for Jose Aldo. And then we have the main event, Geoff Neal versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And Geoff Neal is the interesting cat. You know, he still worked as a waiter during the pandemic because he couldn't get fights in, and he had to go back to his job at a Texas Roadhouse. It's like a steak restaurant, I think. So he had to go back there and work, and he had an interesting 2020 himself. And he takes on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who last fought last November. So he's coming off after 13 months too himself. And it's going to be an interesting fight. They've both not fought in a while. Geoff Neal's on the come up. He's 6-0 in the UFC. He's 7-0 total. He's won 7 of his last fights. And I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has a task up ahead for him. And I think Geoff Neal is going to make it really tough for him. But I have a strange feeling that I think Geoff Neal might get the victory. I think he's going to finish Stephen Wonderboy Thompson maybe in the third round or in the later rounds, I think. Because I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is not the fighter he used to be. Granted, he did win his last fight, but you know, anything can happen in 4-ounce gloves. And I think Geoff Neal is going to finally shine and break out in the welterweight division. So that was it, guys. That was my take on the final card of the UFC for this year. There are some bangers next month in January. Really good cards. 3 cards. Really good January starting out to be. And I hope the fights get bigger and better from 2021. But for now, for this year, this is the last calendar card. And it's been a fun 2020. You know, it's been shocking that they managed to put on so many fights during the pandemic in America. But they have. Kudos to the UFC and Dana White. And yeah, if you like this video, guys, please share, like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notifications to get updates for the future videos. Until then,